The 1980s were a golden era of speed. While many countries clung to tradition or retro style, Japan took a different path, chasing the limits of velocity. They weren't just building motorcycles, they were creating machines capable of challenging sports cars on the highway. Manufacturers like Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and Suzuki competed fiercely, constantly releasing new technologies, stronger engines, and bold aerodynamic designs. The result was a generation of motorcycles that delivered jaw-dropping speed, yet remained friendly enough for daily use. In this video, we will explore 10 of the fastest Japanese bikes of the 1980s, from humble sleeper bikes to the speed monsters that closed out an unforgettable decade. This is not just a story about machines, it is Japan's daring journey to redefine what fast truly means. 1988, Kawasaki Ninja ZX10 Tomcat. It was the fastest Japanese motorcycle of its time and a clear sign of Kawasaki's ambition to dominate speed. At its heart was a liquid-cooled 997 cubic centimeter inline 4 engine, refined from the GPZ series but tuned for greater performance. It produced about 135 horsepower and 75 pound-feet of torque. With this setup, the Tomcat reached a blistering 167 miles per hour, outpacing every Japanese rival of the decade. What impressed riders most was its delivery. Instead of a sudden burst, it provided smooth, relentless acceleration that seemed endless. Beyond the engine, the ZX10 featured a rigid aluminum perimeter frame, keeping the bike composed despite weighing over 500 pounds. Aerodynamic bodywork helped it slice through the air, maintaining stability at extreme speeds. Suspension and brakes were strong enough to give riders confidence to push the bike to its limits. The Ninja ZX10 Tomcat was not only fast, it was complete. A machine that combined raw power with stability and control at high speed. 1985, Yamaha RZ500. The Yamaha RZ500 was one of the rare motorcycles that brought Grand Prix racing technology to the street. The bike was powered by a liquid-cooled 2-stroke V4 engine with 492 cubic centimeters of displacement. Output was about 88 horsepower and 42 pound-feet of torque. While these numbers seemed modest compared to larger 4-stroke rivals, the RZ500 had the advantage of lightweight and explosive power delivery. Once it hit the power band, the engine came alive with thrilling urgency, making it feel like a street-legal GP machine. Top speed was around 135 miles per hour, putting it on par with many larger 4-stroke bikes. Its lightweight build, balanced chassis, and capable suspension gave it agility in corners and stability at speed. This was why many riders described the RZ500 as one of the most engaging machines of its class. 1984, Kawasaki GPZ 750 Turbo. The Kawasaki GPZ 750 Turbo proved that turbocharging could truly work on the street. It was one of the boldest motorcycles of the 1980s, showing that speed was not reserved only for large displacement engines. At its heart was a 738 cubic centimeter inline 4 engine paired with a turbocharger, producing about 112 horsepower and 73 pound-feet of torque. With this setup, the GPZ 750 Turbo could reach a top speed of 145 miles per hour, nearly matching 1,000cc superbikes of the time. What set it apart was the way the power came alive. Smooth at first, but once the turbo spooled up, the bike surged forward with thrilling force, as if another engine had suddenly joined in. To manage this added performance, Kawasaki reinforced the frame, upgraded the suspension, and fitted stronger brakes. As a result, despite not being light, the bike remained stable and manageable at high speed. It might not have offered the refinement of pure sport bikes, but it delivered raw excitement, especially whenever the turbo kicked in. 1983, Honda CB1100F. The Honda CB1100F looked simple at first glance, but on the road, it was a true speed machine. Without flashy styling, this bike could still make superbikes nervous. Its inline-4 engine, displacing 1,098 cubic centimeters, produced about 108 horsepower and over 75 pound-feet of torque. With that setup, the CB1010F reached a top speed of 137 miles per hour, an impressive figure for such an unassuming machine. What made it stand out was the way it delivered its power. The engine pulled smoothly across the rev range, offering linear and controllable acceleration. On the highway, passing traffic was effortless, while on open stretches, it gave riders an exciting surge without needing to hit the red line. A strong chassis and well-balanced geometry kept the bike steady at speed. No wobble, no drama, just confidence and relentless pace. The CB1100F proved that refinement and precise engineering could produce a motorcycle worthy of a place in Japan's speed legacy. 1985, Suzuki GSX750ES. In the motorcycle scene of the 1980s, the Suzuki GSX750ES was not the loudest name, yet it quietly proved its worth. It didn't wear flashy bodywork, nor was it marketed as a pure race machine. Still, for riders seeking a balance between performance and practicality, the GSX750ES stood out as a valuable option. Its air-cooled inline-4 engine displaced 747 cubic centimeters and was tuned for smooth, reliable delivery. Output was about 86 horsepower, with 49 pound-feet of torque. On the road, it could reach a top speed of 139 miles per hour, a surprising number for a bike that didn't look anything like a superbike. The strength of the GSX750ES lay in its stability and power curve. Riders didn't need to push it to redline to feel the speed. The torque was available across the gears, making highway acceleration and overtaking easy and confident. Fuel economy averaged just over 40 miles per gallon, allowing the bike to serve well as a sport touring companion. 1982, Kawasaki Z13000. If there was one motorcycle in the 1980s that could overwhelm riders at first sight, it was the Kawasaki Z13000. This was never designed to be light or nimble. It was built to be a heavyweight machine with speed that demanded global attention. The Z13000 carried a liquid-cooled inline-6 engine with 1,286 cubic centimeters of displacement, producing about 120 horsepower and 86 pound-feet of torque. For the late 1970s and early 1980s, those numbers were staggering. Top speed was often measured at 138 miles per hour, with fuel-injected versions pushing as high as 145 miles per hour. More than just speed, the Z13000 delivered stability on long runs, even when carrying luggage or a passenger. Despite its hefty dry weight of nearly 652 pounds, Kawasaki reinforced the frame, fitted dual front discs, and engineered steady geometry to keep it composed at speed. It could feel heavy in city traffic, but out on the highway, it transformed into a high-speed cruiser. The power delivery was broad and steady, giving riders a constant surge rather than a sudden punch. 1989, Yamaha FZR750. The Yamaha FZR750 arrived as a turning point in the 750cc class. It was not built to be easy or beginner-friendly, but to prove that a mid-size machine could stand toe-to-toe with the most powerful 1000cc superbikes of its era. At its core was a liquid-cooled inline-4 engine with 749 cubic centimeters of displacement. Featuring 5 valves per cylinder and titanium connecting rods, it revved quickly and maintained durability at extremely high RPM. The standard version produced about 106 horsepower, while the race-focused OW01 pushed up to 121 horsepower. This allowed top speeds close to 150 miles per hour, with the OW01 reaching around 160 miles per hour, a figure that made rivals take notice. Beyond power, the FZR750 featured an aluminum delta box frame, combining lightweight with impressive rigidity. Fully adjustable suspension and large dual front discs gave riders confidence under hard braking. A 6-speed gearbox and sharp throttle response turned it into a precision tool, agile through corners, yet steady on long straights. Yamaha created a motorcycle that redefined the 750cc class, setting a milestone in the history of Japanese superbikes. 1983. Suzuki GSX1000S Katana. The Suzuki GSX1100S Katana was one of the most striking motorcycles of the 1980s. Its bold, angular design, combined with strong performance, made it an icon from the very first day. Powered by a 1073 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine, developed from the GS series but tuned for more punch, the Katana produced around 111 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque. It delivered quick and consistent acceleration, with a top speed of about 147 miles per hour, placing it among the fastest motorcycles in the world at that time. What stood out was how it kept pulling strongly at higher revs, while many competitors started to fade. Beyond its powerful engine, the Katana impressed with a rigid frame and braking system capable of handling high-speed demands. Its stability gave riders confidence to explore its pace without sacrificing control. While most manufacturers stayed with conservative designs, Suzuki broke away and introduced a shape that looked like it had arrived from the future. 1983 Kawasaki KZ1000R Eddie Lawson Replica. When Kawasaki released the KZ1000R Eddie Lawson Replica, it wasn't just selling a motorcycle, it was selling the spirit of AMA racing victories. Named after legendary rider Eddie Lawson, this bike quickly became a symbol of speed and precision. Its power came from a 998 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine, tuned for sharp throttle response and smooth power delivery across the rev range. Riders reported top speeds of up to 135 miles per hour, confirming its real performance. With about 102 horsepower and over 70 pound-feet of torque, it surged forward with authority without needing to chase the red line. What made the KZ1000R stand out was the harmony between engine strength and overall balance. The reinforced frame, stiffer suspension, and 5-speed transmission kept the motor in its sweet spot. This gave the bike stability and confidence at high speed, not just raw acceleration. Without aerodynamic fairings or flashy racing graphics, the KZ1000R still felt like a street-legal race bike. 1984 Honda VF1100C V65 Magna. It looked relaxed, built for long-distance comfort, but inside, it carried power that surprised many riders. At its heart was a liquid-cooled V4 engine with 1,098 cubic centimeters of displacement, producing about 116 horsepower and 69 pound-feet of torque. Thanks to this configuration, riders didn't need to chase high revs to feel the strength. Torque came early, delivering sharp yet smooth acceleration. Tests showed the V65 Magna reaching 137 miles per hour, and in ideal conditions, some examples pushed close to 145 miles per hour. That made it one of the fastest cruisers in the world at its debut. Another highlight was the 6-speed transmission with an overdrive gear, allowing the bike to cruise at highway speeds with low revs. At 60 miles per hour, the engine spun at only around 3,500 revolutions per minute, providing smoothness and decent economy of about 39 miles per gallon. The chassis and dual front disc brakes kept the bike stable even as the speed rose. The Honda VF1100 CV65 Magna was not built to carve tight corners. It was born to fly straight down the highway with cruiser comfort and superbike speed. A motorcycle that could feel laid back around town, yet transform into a steel arrow the moment you opened the throttle. The 1980s were Japan's golden era of speed. Machines like the Honda CB1100F, Kawasaki Z13000, and Ninja ZX-10 Tomcat didn't just push motorcycle technology forward, they redefined what fast truly meant for an entire generation. Each bike carried its own character, from subtle refinement to explosive power, yet they all shared one goal: the pursuit of speed. Today, many of these motorcycles are remembered as legends, celebrated with respect by enthusiasts worldwide. They remind us that speed is not only about numbers, but also about emotion, boldness, and relentless innovation. If you enjoyed these stories, let us know in the comments which bike impressed you the most. Don't forget to hit like, share this video with friends, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next journey into the world of speed legends.